Hello, everybody. This is Dave Blair, and I want to talk about E3 coming up, and it is about a little over a month away. So today is April 24th of 2018, and I want to talk about E3, and specifically, I want to talk about Microsoft and Xbox. So the gameplay that you're seeing right here is just some Forza races that I had. So I thought I'd put that on in the background and talk over it because I really want to talk about this because it seems like Microsoft is really getting bashed for no exclusive games. So I want to touch on that in a few different ways. Um, First of all, when the Xbox came out with the Xbox One, they made a lot of missteps. Um, And so lately, what they've been doing is trying to improve a lot of things or correct a lot of things from when they first came out with the Xbox One. Now, if you remember, when they first came out with the Xbox One, they wanted to tie games to your gamer tag, and they wanted to have your Xbox check in every 24 hours, online, um, connected all the time, and they talked about making your Xbox more like a TV box. So anyway, again, a lot of missteps, and they really upset the community there. And what they were trying to do, and it wasn't just Microsoft, but it was other publishers and game developers. They were trying to um, stop the secondhand market, or part of the thing, and it wasn't just Microsoft, but Microsoft took the hit for this. But they were trying to find a way around people trading in their old games or trading games with other people. And so they were trying to tie the games to your gamer tag. And they were asked by developers to work this into their new console at the time. But the media just made it as, oh, Microsoft is evil and that they're doing all this DRM, which wasn't entirely true. But Microsoft didn't do anything to defend itself then. And like I said, it was not just Microsoft that was trying to bypass the GameStops of the world and that secondhand game market. Anyway, so they took a lot of abuse from the from game reporters or game journalists, and anyway, it wasn't really all their fault. But yes, they made a lot of missteps with that, and they've been trying to fix all that stuff, and they've really made some great stuff going forward. Now, I have the Xbox One X, and that is a fantastic piece of kit. Now, let's go back to the exclusive games that's the narrative right now. And again, Microsoft, as far as game journalists are concerned, can't do anything right. No matter what they do, they seem to be attacked on all fronts. But so right now, the narrative is they don't have any exclusive games. Well, I'd like to touch on this in a few different ways. But first of all, um, there's actually too many games right now, in my opinion. The other thing is, I basically get 8 free games a month because I'm an Xbox Live Gold subscriber. And a lot of these games I'm not interested in. Some of these games I am interested in but would never have bought. And some of these games I am definitely interested in and I would have bought. Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider happens to be one of the ones. So they gave me for free Rise of the Tomb Raider. That was a game that I planned on buying and playing through when I had a chance. But again, I have too many games right now. My backlog is huge. I also have the Game Pass, and that gives me access to, I don't know, over 100 games that I can just download and play if I want. And I have downloaded and played Dirt 4. So that was one of the games that I did, and I played that Sea of Thieves, which just came out. Um, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago from this recording. Um, they have other games coming. State of Decay 2 is supposed to come out soon. Crackdown 3 I think is coming out this summer, and then Forza Horizon Fall 4 in the fall. But anyway, I still feel like we have too many games, and I don't think that Microsoft needs to have exclusive games. And they've already said, well, first of all, a lot of people say, well, if Microsoft puts the game out on the Xbox and the PC, it's no longer an Xbox exclusive. But that's not what Microsoft is trying to do. And they've even come out and said, we are not trying to withhold games from everyone anymore. Again, if you go back to the 360 generation, Microsoft had a lot of exclusives. Matter of fact, the Tomb Raider game, they had exclusive for a year, and they caught a lot of backlash from the gaming community about that. And same thing with like getting early access to the map packs of Call of Duty and things like that. I mean, Xbox back in the 360 days when they had a larger user base, they had a lot of exclusive content. Now, going forward to the Xbox One, they don't have exclusive games because they're saying that, well, if you put it out on PC, it's no longer exclusive to the Xbox. Give us a reason to buy the Xbox. Well, they did. And they have said that we believe the Xbox is the best place to play your games, which I happen to agree with. Again, the Xbox One X, which came out in the fall of 2017, is a fantastic piece of kit. And to play games in 4K and just the not just the graphics, but it just plays games better. Not to mention the Xbox Live. I know like the big thing right now on PC is Discord. Well, Discord has taken a lot of the things from Xbox Live that Xbox Live's been doing for years. Anyway, so if I go back to, I've talked about the free games that I get for being a gold member. I've talked about the Game Pass. The biggest thing that Microsoft is doing right now is the backwards compatibility. The idea that if you bought a game for the original Xbox or the Xbox 360, that you own those games and you can still play those games on their system. And looking at Red Dead Redemption, right? So that one is backwards compatible, and it's also upgraded to 4K now. And I'm looking forward. I would like to play that game again before Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. And the Xbox One X is the only place you can do it at that kind of graphic setting. And again, it has more to do than just the graphics. You see longer distances. The game just runs smoother and faster, better frame rates, everything. It's the best way to play that game, and you can't get that one on PC. But anyway, what they're doing with the backward compatibility is huge, and so I'll touch on that again here in a second. But they're also making original Xbox games playable on the Xbox One, which is a big deal. So if I go back to like the way that I grew up is I would have a game that I was interested in and I would research that game. Usually I would wait for the review to come out in a magazine and I would read it and determine if I wanted to buy that game. And I would know about if there were any bugs or problems in the game and I might steer clear of it if it wasn't reviewed well. Matter of fact, I used to say, well, if I see a review score of under 85, I'm not going to buy the game because at the time there was a lot of games that were good, in the high 80s and 90s, Metacritic score or whatever. So I used to research the games that I was interested in, and if it had a good review, I would buy it and I would play through the whole game. Again, I don't know. Kids today, they don't finish games. So they always want to play whatever's out, whatever's new and happening. So, for instance, like I know somebody was playing Far Cry 5, and God of War came out, and they just dropped it and moved on. It's like they didn't even finish the game. I mean, how many games did they do that? Probably all of them. When I bought a game, I finished a game. And I would say that was true all the way up until about 2012. I just couldn't keep up anymore. So the point is that kids, nowadays they tend to move on to the next thing that comes out. That's why they're complaining that, oh, there's no exclusive games and they want more games, but they never finish anything. But you have games like, Call of Duty or PUBG or even Sea of Thieves for that matter, you can just jump in and play as much as you want and jump out. And I'm talking about Call of Duty Online. I mean, you could spend hours. So, for example, like Forza Motorsport 7, that game, the Forza Motorsport series comes out every 2 years. I play that game for 2 years. It doesn't take me that long to go through the single player. I play that, basically to just get my cars, my achievements, my credits, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm online. I'm online for 2 years because I like to just jump in. I'm familiar with the game. I like to get online. I like to use the Xbox Live. I like to talk to people, and I like to race. Just race after race after race. That is my enjoyment for the game, and it lasts me 2 years. And then when everyone else moves on, I move on. So anyway, my point is I have too many games, and this narrative about Xbox doesn't have any exclusive games is just ridiculous. So anyway, I'd also like to talk about the Play Anywhere initiative that Microsoft is doing. I think is fantastic too. So again, people complain that there's no exclusive games because they're available on the PC. Well, yeah, there's a reason why Microsoft is doing that. They want to move their games to PC because this generation, PlayStation outsold them. So PlayStation has a bigger user base. So if PlayStation sold 70 million PlayStations and the Xbox sold 35 million Xboxes, then the PlayStation has a larger user base, which helps them with their marketing thing. So that when they go to make a commercial, they're like, we want to feature PlayStation in this commercial because we have a bigger user base. Anyway, so it ties into a lot of things. So what Microsoft did was, well, we didn't sell as many Xbox Ones as we thought we would because again, the missteps that they made when they first came out with it. But they still needed to increase their user base. So what they kind of did was strategically do a run around Sony and put their games on PC and the Xbox with this Play Anywhere initiative. And yes, while you have some people saying, well, the games are no longer exclusive, why would I buy an Xbox if I can play them on the PC? Well, Microsoft doesn't care where you play their games. If they're making a Gears of War game, and let's say everybody that bought an Xbox buys Gears of War, which would never happen, but let's say they did, they would only sell 35 million games. So if they turn it over to PC, which the PC market is in the hundreds of millions of people, even if 50 million of them bought Gears of War on the PC, then they'd still have a bigger user base, and it all ties into your online component. Here's a good example. I played Overlord. I think it was Overlord 2. It doesn't really matter. But I went online because they had this multiplayer part, and there was one person online. And this was an Xbox game, and it's tied to the Xbox, so it's not like it was open to PC players. But it was ridiculous that there was only one person. He was probably glad I showed up so we could actually do a multiplayer thing. And then, that was it. I never saw anybody on there again. So the point is, if I sell a game, if I make a game and I put it on the Xbox and the PC, I've just increased my user base. My user base is now huge compared to Sony's. Anyway, so that is why they're doing the Play Anywhere. The other thing is the cross-platform play. So again, if I want to play on the PC or if I want to play on my Xbox, I have that choice. And if I save it, if I'm in the living room and I'm on my Xbox One and I save my game, I come in my office, I can boot it up on my computer and pick up right where I left off. So cross-platform. Now, Project Cars 2 does that. Matter of fact, on their leaderboard, it'll tell you whether they used a wheel or a pad. So cross-platform, again, is something that's out there. It's something that works, and it increases your user base. If you do the Play Anywhere and you cross-platform games, it increases your player base. That's how Microsoft is beating Sony this generation, and they don't even know it. Or Sony knows it, but the game journalists don't. The other thing I'd like to see is bring mouse and keyboard support to the Xbox. So if I want to hook up a mouse and keyboard to my Xbox in my living room and pull up a table to my recliner, which I have done, I have a computer in my living room too that's hooked to my TV, and I've played games on the TV with a mouse and keyboard. It's not that difficult. But I would like them to bring the mouse and keyboard support to the Xbox, and you know, there are a lot of games that just play better with a mouse and keyboard. And again, let people figure out how they're going to hook a mouse and keyboard up in the living room. It's not that big a deal. So one of Microsoft's biggest problems is Microsoft itself. If they would get out of the way of everybody, um, it would be fine. So yeah, bring the mouse and keyboard support. A lot of people have the emulators already, but um, but then make a distinction. Like if you have leaderboards like Project Cars 2 does, say whether the person used a wheel or a gamepad. It's just nice to know. Anyway, one of the other things I'd like to point out is I played Battlefield 1942 on my PC, and in that game, I used three separate controllers. So when I was running around as a soldier, I used my mouse and keyboard. When I jumped into a vehicle, I picked up my gamepad, and I would drive the Jeep around or I'd drive the tank around. And I'd drive over and I'd jump into an airplane, and then I'd switch over to my joystick, and I had the throttle control and all that other stuff, and I could fly it like a real airplane, like I normally would. But anyway, so support multiple controllers is my point here, and bring the mouse and keyboard support. And then the other thing is, I mean, your Xbox is kind of like the Steam box. I don't know if everyone is caught up on the news and stuff, but Steam has done away with their Steam boxes. And the other thing is, as long as you have that cross platform and the Play Anywhere stuff, I mean, your Xbox is the Steam box. It's what Steam tried to do. The other thing is the Xbox One X is basically a Windows 10 PC. Now they talk about these. You got to read between the lines, but they talked about like Forza ported their game from the Xbox to the PC in a day, and what they're trying to do is make the Xbox and PC more compatible, and basically the same idea that Steam had with putting all your Steam library onto your TV. So again, you have an Xbox in the living room. The Xbox works with TVs, fantastic. You have your computer in your office. It works with your monitor. The monitor and TV are different animals. They have different resolutions and different strengths and weaknesses. But it's possible to get everything working together with the cross-platform and the Play Anywhere and that type of stuff. I think you guys kind of get what I'm trying to say. Now, I hope that Xbox comes out at E3 and does not do what PlayStation did last year. Because really, PlayStation, all they did was they had an orchestra, and then they did nothing but play trailers. Trailer after trailer after trailer. And a lot of the games that they showed won't be out for years. I don't know. To me, that was not an E3 conference. But please, Microsoft, just come out, talk about your games, show your games. Don't put any, people on stage acting like they're playing the game. Just do away with all that. Come out, talk about your game, show your game, and move on. Keep it professional, keep it tight, and and again, do like you've been doing. Don't do like Sony and show years and years and years ahead. Give us what's coming out, and move on. The other thing, I would like to see Microsoft bring VR. They came out with their mixed reality headsets with the four producers: Dell, Samsung, Lenovo, and Acer. But open up the Xbox to all VR. So if you have an Oculus or you have a Vive, it should just work. The other thing I would like to see them do is Forza 4 is coming out in the fall. That would be a great game to do VR in. Because as we all know, racers or sim racers know that a seated VR game is the best type of VR to do. None of this room scale and all that other nonsense. Sit somebody in a cockpit, driving a car, put them in VR. It's fantastic. The other thing, we haven't had a flight sim game from Microsoft in a long time, but they do have that, the flight simulator game. So bring that. Bring a flight sim with 4K assets and make it a VR flight sim. Fantastic. You can even do a space flight sim if you wanted. The other thing that you have is the Mech Warrior. Like, who wouldn't want to pilot a mech in VR? So, again, I think that if you brought those four games and brought VR and showed everybody how to do it right with a seated cockpit type of VR simulation game, it seems like a no-brainer. Up your resolution and make that happen. Driving, flight, space flight, mech warrior, those type of things. Just do VR right. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Uh, the other thing too is if if you look at the Xbox and the Play Anywhere or the cross-platform type of stuff as the Steam box, what they were trying to do with the Steam box, um, you know, I would like to see some kind of partnership between Microsoft and Steam. Maybe you bring the Steam store to the Xbox, right? And people that play PC and Xbox would have access to all the games that they bought on Steam on their Xbox. That would be fantastic. And on the flip side, bring Microsoft's Xbox Live to Steam for all the users in there. Give them the Xbox Live chat. It's fantastic. I mean, that thing works great. I know a bunch of people are on Discord now, but it's a lot like Xbox Live, and Xbox Live was there first. Um, but again, incorporate and combine your Xbox and your PC users, and you'll increase your user base bigger than anything Sony could ever hope for. All right, I guess that's kind of my, I don't know, E3 predictions or E3 rant or Microsoft rant, Xbox rant. You can call it whatever you want, but I just wanted to get some of my thoughts out there and hey, on this exclusive gaming narrative that they got going on is ridiculous. We don't need to rush out games so that we can say, "Oh, we have these exclusive Xbox games." No, make the games available for everybody on the PC and the Xbox. I think that's a great idea. And keep pushing the Play Anywhere, keep pushing the cross-platform, keep bringing the backward compatibility, and all these people that are complaining about no exclusives to play, there are some great games that have come before you were even born, probably. And if you can go back and play them in backwards compatibility, that'll give you plenty of games to play. There are tons of great games I'm sure you kids have never finished. So go out there, find a great game, and finish it. And when you're done playing all the great games, we'll talk about needing more exclusives. All right, thanks for watching.